Welcome back to insideX. After our 2-week hiatus, we're back in action here. And before I bring Galdi in to talk about today's show, we actually got the ARMA Rewind back again, and it's 2003. We're working our way up. 2003 Mission Raceway. And what a cool track that was. You're going to see some good action, and we're getting in that heavy into that JSR era, so we'll see how he makes out there. Roodz Garage, he's going to get that motor slapped in that rolling chassis. Things are coming along nicely there at the Parts Canada Dream Bike. Our social media check-in brought to you by Husky. Actually got a bunch of amateurs using that hashtag insideX on Fox, so I'm excited to see that. Actually, a lot of them on KTMs and Huskies, so that kind of works out nice for them. And going right along, we got the updates on the series, as well as the other series, Triple Crown. We're going to talk about the CSBK, see where the flat track is. A couple of other guys getting out there, trying to get racing, obviously in a lockdown right now. And things are just a bit weary, so we're going to figure out where we can go and try to predict things as they go along. But that's the show for today. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'll bring Ryan into the studio. Welcome back to insideX, and in the studio, my guy Ryan Gauld. Welcome back, Ryan. Man, it's been a little bit of a break for us, a couple weeks off, and we're back at it.
Yeah, I'm not locked out from you, Kyle.
No,
you can't quit me. You can't quit me. Can't lock me out of this. I'm excited, man. The shows have been going great so far. Obviously, a lot of information going to get tossed around in this episode, but excited to be back in here and talking moto, and hopefully keep progressing under this current situation here in Ontario and right across Canada. It doesn't seem to be going in our favor, but we do have some news, and we're going to share some stuff throughout the show.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in a little bit. The race series, as well as your ammo and amateur across the scene. It's weird because there's no direct way. Like Ontario is a little different than Manitoba, than Alberta, than BC, so it's really hard to plan as a promoter, and you can see that right now.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I don't think there's ever been a point in the history of living that where our leaders have sort of failed to handle something so difficult or so seriously. And obviously, it's affecting us because we're so passionate. Our little community is so small, and we care so much about what we want to do and what we think we should do. Don't even think about your golf course people or hockey or soccer or anything, which is so much bigger than our picture. But the fact that they call it a lockdown, but they don't really lock it down, that's where it's really biting us in the butt, I think. But yeah, it's a struggle right now on all accounts, and hopefully things are progressing. But I mean, we've been saying that for a year. It's a really ugly situation, and it's it sucks that it's affecting us, but there's so many bigger things getting affected by this as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're just a small little spectrum in that the whole world of things. But you know what? We got the show.
Yeah,
we got some fun stuff coming on this episode that I just briefed on before you came in here. So the first thing off the hop is the ARMA Rewind, and I think, man, I've been enjoying them because I get to get into your brain and just remember all these things that happened, because I was living through some of it, but you were there in the action broadcasting them.
Yeah, no, the ARMA Rewind, a great positive spin to a little bit of a slow start there for the show, but so much fun. And for me, I love that stuff. I'm such an advocate of where we've come from in our sport. I loved it prior to even TV stuff. I would follow in whatever Canadian publication you could read about. And this round here, the Mission 2003 one, it's a wild one. We'll get into it. The track is really strange, stuff like that. But I think if the kids are watching this, like I said, it's really cool to see how JSR became JSR. In these episodes we're going to be watching for the next few shows, we really start to see who Colt Fasciotti was. Yep. Like a lot of these heroes that people know now that may, where did they start from? How did they get there? And that's what the ARMA Rewind is all about.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Fasciotti started in 02. I know we were 02 Whispering Pines the week before, but now we're 03 Mission. And we're just going to literally see Fasciotti turn into the 6-time champ. We're in the midst of the JSR era right now, so we're actually going to jump to that right now and get that Mission Raceway going.
Right on, Kyle. Yeah, let's get into that Armor Rewind. 2003 Mission. First thing that comes to my mind, the track, dizzy.
Yeah.
Very dizzy. It literally just kind of went around and around and around, what you're going to see right there. Start Jimmy Nelson. So many Americans in this class this year.
And it was very jumpy. It was a sandy supercross in my eyes. It looks like back in the day when we used to ride fair crosses, but obviously a bigger scale. This track was, it's pretty neat too. And being in Mission, I've never been there, but I've like been around that area.
Yeah.
Busy area.
Yeah, it's a drag strip raceway around and around. So parking was really cool. We had actually paved parking, lots of nice grass. But this track literally made by Chick Raceway back then. Oh, big crash by Jimmy Nelson right there leading the way. Pacific Yamaha, awesome team that he rode for back then. And look at Colton Fasciotti and Evan Lawford. They ballot out a lot this year. But the track literally was just a tiny, almost like a club track.
Yeah.
And they brought Chick in to build it up here. And that's what you got to see here. Like you said, supercross, huge jumps. And like here, they just kind of finished the lap in this highlight that we're watching. But it just kind of wound in and around. And they made it, I swear it was like a 45-second lap time up to almost a 2-minute with all the work that was getting done right there. And the man of the hour, though, there, Evan Lawford. But the guy behind him, Chris Wheeler.
Yes.
It was pretty wild. Chris Wheeler is now one of the head guys at Suzuki USA.
Oh, cool.
And so he actually battles Evan Lawford right here. He's on the Blackfoot Honda. And for those that would watch this and know back then, those bikes, awful motor in the CR135 back then.
I rode one.
Okay,
Yeah,
a very crazy slow motor. And then, but these guys made it work. And there's Wheeler going down. He actually breaks his neck in that crash.
Oh, yeah. And he was leading the way there. He made that pass on Lothridge.
He was gone. Like, he was gone.
So very, very good in that track. But a couple things off the track that I noticed. Coors Light and Export A being the partners, that's different times.
Yeah, Coors Light out there. It was always good at the end of the day. Have a nice cold pint after holding the microphone doing the announcing. Lawford's getting through that section there where Wheeler went down.
Strong.
But so many old names in here and stuff. We're going to kind of keep watching. Here's Jimmy Nelson here. For those, again, who don't know, Jimmy Nelson, he was a phenom amateur back then. One of the only guys to maybe give James Stewart a run for his money. Little shot of me in the paddock. There's Davey Gowan. Good old Davey Gowan, currently one of the head cheese at Monster Energy USA. But Jimmy Nelson, back in that day, right around the 0203, again, was one of the only guys, actually 0203, sorry, James Stewart turned pro. Some of them maybe 01. One of the only guys that gave fits to James Stewart as an amateur back in that day.
Yep. And I remember that too, and the Super Mini division.
Up to the 250 class, Darcy Land's getting the whole shot right here. Team Faith rider up there, Jimmy Gaddis, 1993 Supercross champion. Look at that, so he actually gives a little bit of a nudge. Say, get out of the way, Lands. I don't care if this is home turf for you. Boom. Team Faith coming through. And
with the 316.
316, exactly. On a Yamaha. No, Yamaha did not help them, so their bikes were sort of painted black for no support of the blue crew back then. But Jimmy Gaddis getting that early start. And as we're going to see watching this, the names, Greg Schnell in behind Darcy Land. The talent pool in this year was actually, it was pretty wild. Like, I was in here racing. I was getting like 14th and 15th. Not that, put credit to the old training program out there. But it was a deep, deep field back then.
This is the year that Huffman came in.
Yep.
But Lang right there running the number 20 because he got hurt that year before. So a double digit for him. And that Richmond team starting to get more and more talent into that pool there. Yeah,
the Richmond Kawasaki team was really good. And Darcy was their ace in the hole. He was a guy there throughout their entire career. And this is the first year Blair Morgan switched away from the Blackfoot team. So him and JSR have been going at it. You're going to see him coming through here. He makes a double pass here, a little double dipper going by Blair on the number 2. And I swear I thought Blair was going to be unstoppable this year. The Yamaha 252 stroke was just an unbelievable bike. Blair was an unbelievable rider. He just came off another snowcross of gazillion wins and makes the pass here. But again, now this was the start of 3 straight years where JSR would not lose an opener. And he would actually be going 1-1, 1-1 after Darcy beat him the year before in Nanaimo. But Blair was good. He would come back here and pass. But the next week after this round, Blair has his horrific accident at Nanaimo and breaks his ankle really bad when the throttle sticks on his bike. And here comes JSR. Look at this. We haven't even seen him. They're about probably 15, 16 minutes into this moto, and this is when JSR just finds his way. Yeah, he just finds his way around. He just hits another gear. But there he goes, makes 2 passes on those guys. And it's cool to see all that talent injected in there. That's 3 Canadians there. Yeah, that's the good part about this thing. We're going to find some really cool stats as we keep watching this. A lot of American hired guns to make stuff happen. But I tell you what, the Canadians always prevailed. And we were actually doing some cool stuff before the show about that. But the Canadians always prevailed, and the man right there that prevailed the most was JSR. Man, he could always find his way going through. And look at Morgan now getting him back. There's Tommy Lemieux out there, privateer, the number 55, Tommy Lemieux. But look at, again, every time we watch these guys, JSR, Blair Morgan, JSR, Blair Morgan, they were such iconic people for our sport. This track must favor Blair Morgan being from the snowcross world. And this thing just seems like you're bouncing around constantly. Almost. Just endless. It got so rough and so gnarly, so choppy underneath it all. It was crazy how good. There's a shot of Huffman right there, the 120. So this was, again,
Lothridge
like you said, double classing back then. Look at old Huffman making a big mistake there. But here it is, JSR grabbing that first moto win. And once again, this is where it all began for him. Not all began. This is his chase for the third championship. But very cool stuff. But look at this. Right here, Ryan Lockhart pushing to the finish, all heart. He just had to get it to the top. His buddy Chuck Mesley waiting. And I want to say truly that this might have been the most significant thing in Ryan Lockhart's career. It kind of turned him around. Factory teams for the rest of his career, and the heart never stopped out of there for Ryan Lockhart. Very cool to see.
And now he's a big industry guy, so that's very cool to see that, these kids that look up to him and get product from him, hey, this guy did it all.
And just bust his chops a little bit. Leading up to that point, he was kind of known as a bit of a give-up rider, not much heart. That right there turned his career around again as you get into that second mile. Little shot of Bart Stevenson there, 231 on the, what was the 237,
I believe it was.
237, sorry. What was
Pacific
the Yamaha team? No, Pacific was the other Yamaha
Riverside.
team. Riverside, there it is, Riverside Yamaha. Look at this, Kyle Beaton, all of 3'2" tall right here, and he's looking to get going. He's going to pull away. Oh, there it is. Beat's career summed up right there. That's Beat's career.
Was that his first year riding pro?
That was his very first pro race right here, because he did not move up the year before with Colton Fasciotti, even though they were the same age. He waited, and Beats was still on the 125 two-stroke there, and there he is right there after he picked it up. But good shot, Fasciotti on the 24 right here. This was his second year as a pro. He was slated. He was going to win this championship. Everybody thought he was going to do it, this and that. Up front all the time, Nicky Dunn on the 17 there. Whole shot Honda. Bondi Engines, give them a shout out.
Nice.
And but Lothar is dominant. But back to Fasciotti, he just always got beat by the next American. Or when Klatt found his way coming through on these little bike classes.
And that was that Suzuki team that came in. It was Primal Impulse, wasn't it?
I believe they were they helped out a little bit. Billy Whitley was actually the team manager, and Big Eddie Gardner was the mechanic out there for them. And then the next year, Billy Whitley would start working for the Team Green team. Right there. So a very cool story there. But Lothridge, once again, this is his fourth moto. Back then, a lot of guys still rode. There he is right there. 108 right there, a little bit of mid-pack start. Actually, no, he's in third place right now. And that's Craig Decker right now getting a whole shot on the Blair Morgan Yamaha team. So Morgan's team was actually his own back in this day in 2003.
I can't remember. And it was Decker in it earlier a couple years ago, right?
He was 2001 for the Kawasaki
missed
team.
a year, came back, and that's why he had the 3-digit here.
You got it, exactly, So Greg actually became a staple. We're going to see him in a few more episodes for sure of the Armor Rewind. There's me right there, picking it up. I don't think this moto went very well. I
did pull off and get on the mic with those
I did
mechanics.
not mold very good with that KTM 250. The 125, amazing. That bike there, very scary moment.
I got to say that 03 KTM was just too lethal. It was way too fast.
It was a lot of power and not great brakes. So that's never really ended up so well.
Horrible combo. There's Treadwell, though. He was a staple in the Canadian scene for a while.
2003, he was the team manager of that team and the racer as
What a
well.
guy.
And so he was doing double duty.
And he did double class on the East.
Yeah, double class on these. 53, that was the German rider.
Dorsch.
Yes, Marco Dorsch right there, The Dorsch right there. So a great deep field. There's the Mez, the 13 right there, wearing the white bucket. I always liked that white bucket that year on the Mez, the number 13. The only guy on the machine racing team for all the years, the strong depth of that team. He was the only racer on that team doing that. Look at this. Here comes Dougie DeHaan on number 5. That was the Diablo Honda, him and Dubé. One on a 250, one on a 450.
And back then in 03, I started actually riding with DeHaan a lot. So I was kind of obviously following how he did. And he didn't have a great opening round, but there Dubé having a mistake.
Spoke to the crowd, waving to the crowd.
Lockhart getting by. So there's Lockhart with the number 16 KTM.
Back to that, his cylinder cracked. Is why he had to push that bike in the first moto. Cylinder cracked late in the moto. There it is. JSR, though, once again, grabbing the checker flag in dominant fashion. And this, again, would start 03, 04, 05, 1-1 to start every round here and out to go championship 3, 4, and 5.
He was so hard. It's funny seeing him at the track now and the way he is. He's very quiet, whatever. But then you see the races. He's celebrating, double fist to the sky, I'd
find a way to put all the logos and the championship trophies and tape them to me like an old Canadian beer fridge.
I swear I'm around. But that's another armor. That is fun. I love those things. And that track was wild and the racing was wild. And we've seen Fasciotti starting to make his way as a Canadian legacy he started there. But that's another Armor Rewind. We're going to jump to a quick commercial and we'll be right back. Welcome back to another edition of Social Media Check-In, brought to you by Husqvarna Motorcycles, and those guys taking care of the Carlson Racing Team, the Keelan Mestins, the Casey Keast, and that crew there. And this week, social media, we actually got a bunch of amateurs in there, but we're going to start off with the number 72 in the pro class or the number 1 in the WMX class, Galdi. That's Yves Brodeur.
I like the 72 because I think from 73 back to 100, I should all be like, man, that girl kicked my butt last year, right? Like that. But yeah, Yves Brodeur, such a class act.
Yeah, so cool to see her KTM's dialed in, and she's got the 2 digits there, as well as the number 1 plate. The next one, Tusk Photography tagged us there, and that's Ryan Derry out there doing some motos.
Yeah, biggest surprise last year, right? Didn't we give him an award, I think, right?
Yeah.
So Ryan Derry looking good out there, having fun, racing that bike.
You know what he looked really good at was the Supercross portion.
Yeah, exactly. That's
really,
right.
Really strong there. He kept getting better and better, and I believe he's good buddies with Dario Zecca, and I feel like Dario got better. So it's good to see those two guys out there trying to improve their
100%.
skills.
That's what the series is for.
Yep. Next on our list, a Husqvarna rider himself. I'm pretty sure that's a Husqvarna. It's Rylan Sawyer from out west there.
West, I recognize that name. I recognize that name. Awesome to see them out there getting on the bike, and that hashtag, look at that, getting on TV now.
Getting on TV. So a couple West Coast. The next one up, Parker Hatt and his sister Riley. So those two out there riding. It's awesome to see, the brother-sister combo. And just
got to get the family out there. We do a little thing on Ammo. How many in your family ride? It's awesome to get the kids out there riding, and I mean, there's nothing else better to do right now because dirt bike sales are up, and let's go riding. Yeah,
and speaking of the social media, just touch on the Ammo Focus. I see you guys there just pumping out some, and that's cool to see these kids getting spotlight and all the way to the
just like the hashtag insideX, right? You just get it out there, try to give them another little platform to showcase themselves.
Yeah, and it's crazy thinking about like back in 03, we were just watching Mission. It's like there was none of this, right?
No, texting costs you like 90 cents a text, man.
But nowadays, everybody can see what you're doing, so it's cool. Next on the list, Jacob McDonald riding that Honda, and he's actually he's a local to me, so he's out there. He's going to ride the junior class in Ammo and try to go for a Walton title in that class. So
did he put the hashtag or slip you a 5 to get in here?
No, he's got the hashtag.
But there's no cash anymore. Anyway, did he e-transfer me?
E-transfer me, and then his training partner Thomas Monroe, also local there, riding that KTM.
Yeah, great kid. Love seeing Thomas Monroe come out. I remember coming to an Ammo race. I gave him a ramp one time, and his dad's like, what? He couldn't even carry the ramp back to the trailer. It was awesome. Great family. Good to see.
Yeah, and it's funny that you gave him a ramp because his mom will show up at the practice track, back up to a berm, and unload.
Okay, they must have lost that ramp.
We lost the ramp. Can we get another ramp? But that's Thomas Monroe. We'll look for him in the Ammo as well as Walton Transcan as that gets closer too. But that is the Husqvarna social media check-in for this week. And we're actually going to send it over to Roodz Garage. We're going to see what Paul's up to in that shop. We're going to send it over there now.
So with our rolling chassis complete, we want to get our power plant installed in this YZ250. We got a couple cool things to put in it. First off, we're going to put the cylinder head on from Apex Innovations. Yeah, it's nice when you see that cross hatching like that. That means you know that it's been decked properly and it's going to sit nice and flat. Apex Technical Innovations sent us this cylinder head. This head is unique. It's not your typical high compression head. It's designed to get as much power out of pump gas as possible. Not a lot of people like to go spend the high dollars on race fuel, but it's designed, it's gonna get the most out of your pump gas as possible safely. Works by increasing combustion efficiently in a few different ways, like the squish tolerance, protects fuel before it's burned, and also ensures it's burned completely, and this helps with the detonation. And it's a larger volume head, so you're gonna get a little more coolant in there, which is gonna increase your cooling capabilities.
There she goes, bud.
Also line her up.
Hold on, just lift it a little sec.
Yep.
This cable there you go.
Got her, she gonna set in, there she goes.
Cable. Sorry about that.
All right, no, it's all good, she in. All right, let's grab some motor mount bolts. Okay. Longer one on the bottom, we'll get this one in first. I'm excited, man. This bike is awesome. I'm gonna take off the OEM countershaft sprocket cover, but we're gonna keep this piece on here just in case that chain decides to bunch up. Might save our case. Yeah, we dressed up a couple things on the motor. All right, we're gonna get our chain. We got some GYTR parts on this. We're gonna get our chain on and our chain guide on. Open these up.
Those are a nice little setup. Is this a different plastic that comes on it?
Yeah, this is gonna be a lot thicker and this is gonna just let our chain travel a lot nicer through here.
Is the stock one two-piece or is it just the one piece like that?
Same thing, yeah. It's a single piece.
Yeah. Whew, that is nice.
Doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
Just that fit and finish. These GYTR chain. This thing is fancy.
Gold is the only way to go, in my opinion.
Absolutely, 100%. And this thing, I mean, I don't have gloves on. This thing is lubed up, ready to go. But 520 conversion, same as our sprockets. We got the Runthal front and rear on this thing. We're gonna feed it through to our counter shaft.
To be honest, Roodz, this is one job that I actually don't mind doing. The tires, I could do without that, but
Yeah.
I don't mind breaking chain. It's kind of like relaxing or something. I don't
One
know.
of those things, eh?
Yeah.
So we want to keep this thing far forward, but not too far forward. So we're going to go about halfway on the adjusters. And we're going to bring this around and we're going to see where it's going to match up, where we can put our master link in. So we're going to break the chain right there. This chain's going to stretch a bit, so that's why you want to start off a little far forward, brand new chain. It's going to pull back, but as you can see, we're pretty tight. We're going to be pretty tight right now, so we'll adjust the chain from there and that should be okay. All right, got to remember your master link runs in the direction that your chain is going to be running. So this curve goes forward.
Why is that?
Just in case this thing wraps around, if it's going the other way and it wraps around on your countershaft sprocket, it can take it off, and your chain's going to fall off. Big problem. This is Cervix plastic on here from Parts Canada. So we can finish this bike up. That's another episode of Roodz Garage. Join me again next week. We're going to do some more work on our YZ250, and before too much longer, we're going to have this thing ripping on the track.
I'm Jeremy Mcgrath, former pro supercross motocross rider, 7-time supercross champion. Came from a little town called Menifee, California, and was raised out in the country, and I rode dirt bikes. Being a former pro athlete, I'm still super active. I'm riding mountain bikes a ton, still riding motocross quite a lot, doing a variety of sports, chasing my kids around, they're doing sports, and the opportunity was presented to come on board with ARMA and really take my own fitness to the next level. As being an older guy, like some of the, these kind of things these days are very important, and so supplements to me was something I wanted to look into, and the opportunity was right. If we can, broaden the outlook of what it looks like for supercross, obviously I'm a dirt biker and we can help the world of supercross, then I'm all in. So we're not going to stop there. We're going to branch out to many different sports and action adventure sports. If we can help people, we want to do it.
Shortly after I finished my professional career, I was interested in, passing down some knowledge to a younger rider. Adam Cianciarillo's parents had asked me to support him at an event in which they weren't able to make it to. Coached him that weekend, kind of stayed in contact, and things kind of evolved in 2017. Coached him for the whole year. 2018, I saw some holes in maybe his consistency of his training and things like that, so he wanted my help on the training side as well as the coaching. Last year went pretty well. I was able to win the outdoor title.
Last season was my best season ever by far. I won a lot of races, I won a championship, and it was also my first year using ARMA. And one of the things I noticed was just my ability to string good days together. You know, like especially in the summertime in Florida where you're riding every day and the heat index is 108 degrees and you're doing 230s and going to the gym and bicycle and all that stuff. I think in the past I've been super inconsistent day to day. Yeah, I may have a good race here or a good day during the week there, but overall I think where I improved the most was my consistency in my recovery. Armor products I'm using right now, I use the Blitz every day. Obviously the Fire. I try to have a good sleep, good energy all the time, but sometimes I just need a little boost. Got to go Fire on them. Always, if I'm doing my last 20-minute motor of the day or something like that, I'm like, Nick, at least give me a half scoop. Just give me some. And then the protein always after the gym.
During a race, there's you can pretty much you're burning calories throughout the day. So for us, it's making sure that we have a sustainable amount of energy, which Blitz provides that with an adequate amount of electrolyte support as well to avoid cramping and dehydration. Blitz also has BCAAs and some carbs in there.
With the Informed Sport certification, for me that was the last nail in the coffin.
The certification from Informed Sport was important to me, but it's very important to ARMA as a whole. There's never going to be a product in which we come out with that is not certified through Informed Sport. Every single one of the SKUs we have available on the site or for sale now and indefinitely will be certified by them. And if each specific product that you try to consume doesn't have the certification by Informed Sport logo on it, that specific product isn't certified.
I will never stop. Would you want me to slow down? Would that make it easier for you? Or would you want the fight? The pour your heart into it kind of fight? Or should I stop working so hard? I know you'd want me to slow down. I know it would make it easier for you. But then the gate drops. I wouldn't be anywhere else. One goal, one vision.
Hey everyone, welcome to the farm. I've been talking about it for a while, that we're gonna get outside, we're gonna try some bikes out, and here we are. And the farm, the reason behind it, it's my parents' place. They've been here for over 30 years. This is where I grew up, back in these fields, riding dirt bikes, where I learned, cut my teeth at riding dirt bikes. And everybody's got their unique story, and this is kind of where we grew up, me and my brothers, and grew a passion for the sport. Today we're out here, behind me, we got a gas machine, as well as the Yamaha machine. They're both 450s. They're both stock besides the graphics from M7. We got the fully kitted one for the Yamaha, as well as just some number plates for the gas. So we're gonna test these out today. The one thing about the gas, it's kind of making a comeback now since purchased by KTM, the Austria brand. It used to be a Spanish brand. Now it's gonna be Austrian made and very similar to the KTM model. We've seen Sam Gaynor and Steve Sims talk about it last week or 2 weeks ago. And then the Yamaha, the Japanese model. These guys have been around for a while. A little bit different setup on these Yamahas. They got the reverse motor. So the intake is at the front and it's comes out with a different power. We've actually got a little bit of testing on it, but we're gonna go head to head today and we're gonna report back to you guys on how each of these bikes handle. And the track we're gonna ride today is a hard packed clay track. So it's a little bit different than say a Gopher Dunes where it's very sandy, silty, even a Walton when it's turned up. It's gonna be very flat and smooth. So good for us vet riders, our older class, that we don't need too many suspension trick outs or whatnot. We're gonna just ride the stock motorcycle and it'll be good to go. But I'm gonna go suit up. Join me at the track. All right, there you have it. We had a nice little ride day. I'd like to talk about the gas bike right off the hop here. And after putting a few laps in it, and you could tell by the video that the track's a little drier, a little slippery. It's a practice track. And right off the hop, the gas seems like it stick to the ground real well. One adjustment, you know, for any rider that's come from the Japanese bike background, like a Yamaha, Honda, Kawasaki, is the hydraulic clutch. And that's something that KTM's brought in. You can get them for the other bikes, but this thing comes stock with it. And it's one thing, it feels different. You don't have that play that you're used to in the cable, the slack, and it's just a nice smooth feel. So it's actually nice once you get used to it. It's just different when you start. The power on the gas is very tame. It's nice for the hard packed surface. I'm not sure how it would be in the sand. You kind of want a little bit more torque through the sand, but on this hard pack track, that is a good feature, especially for my riding ability. I'm an ex-pro vet rider now. I just like to go out, ride a nice smooth bike and not have to worry about those, you know, big jumps and stuff like that, those big kickers. Just ride a nice smooth track, and this is a perfect little setup for it. A couple other things I noticed. I haven't had much background in the air fork. I know they've tried it on other bikes. The gas has it here. And honestly, it felt good, very plush. It handled some of the smaller stuff real well. We didn't have much big stuff out there, so it'd be a test at another track to see how it handled the bigger bumps. But for that track, it felt great. Another thing I noticed right off the hop was the foot pegs. Very sharp foot pegs on it, and it made my feet stick to them and easier through those whoop sections. I was able to kind of get on my toes and get through those without losing my grip. But all in all, gas, first impression on the hard pack track, I liked it. I think it's a very vet friendly bike, as well as you can be aggressive with it as a pro rider. You know, coming from that KTM, Husky, now gas background, the bikes are all similar. And you see the top guys in Canada, like a Jess Pettis, Cole Thompson, now Sam Gaynor, and some Husky guys like Keelan Meston. They all succeed on these bikes, and you can see why. It's a very comfortable fit right off the hop. Now we jump to the YZ450, and one cool feature right off the hop is before you even get on this thing, it's got the app, and you can see how you can download maps, you can change the things, you can just see your actual run time, your oil change time, your piston time, and keep track of a log of things. So right off the hop, before you even get on this bike, that's a cool feature. And you know, being a stats guy, I love numbers. It's huge. It's you know what I mean, get around the phone. Okay, I put 7 hours on this. I gotta get this oil changed. You know, I put 15 hours. I gotta get this piston changed. So a very cool feature right off the hop. Then you jump on the bike. It's got the different settings right on the, it's got the launch control on one side, but it's got the 2 maps you can put in the other side. So we went with a slippery surface map, as well as a bit of a hard hitting one. But for me, as a vet rider, the hard hitting one, I didn't want to touch out there. It's a hard slippery track. I just went with the smooth mapping. And right off the hop, from the gas to the YZ, it has a lot of power. It's a lot more snappier on the bottom end. Not so much on the top, it smooths out on the top, but for me, I want that smooth transition. It might have been just a little bit too snappy. I got used to it as we went along, but yeah, just switching from the gas to the YZ, it was just a little snappier. More of a pro rider, like a supercross bottom end, but that's things you can adjust. You can adjust that through your mapping on your phone, as well as you can do it with your gearing. So a couple adjustments there. The next thing, the spring fork. So we just did the air fork with the gas. Honestly, the spring fork, it just sat a little higher in the stroke, I felt like. It's not adjusted for me, but this is right out of the box. You can ride this thing and feel comfortable right out of the box. And yeah, the spring fork, maybe if I adjusted those a little bit and made it to my weight, it'd be perfect, but it sat a little high for me. Going on is the noise. You can hear the suction. I talked about the backwards motor. You can actually hear the suction. It's right in front of you, and I don't mind it. You don't notice it so much, but it's like coming from a gas going to that, you can kind of just a little bit of suction noise there. All in all, the YZ, right out of the box, very fast, nothing needed to be done, no pipes, no anything, as well as the gas. They're both bikes that you can just jump on and race from the pro level to the vet level and to the beginner level. All in between. It's you know, both bikes great. The Japanese, we talked about the hydraulic clutch on the gas. The Japanese bikes come with that cable, and that's more what I grew up with, so I felt comfortable right away. Others little differences that you notice, the braking systems are a little bit different from the Austrian bike to the Japanese bike. But honestly, all in all, these bikes, I could jump back and forth all day long, and it's got their differences, but man, definitely fun bikes to ride. It'd be interesting to try them in some sandy soil. So maybe upcoming we get to Gopher Dunes and we test these out in that rough sand. So like I said, these are right out of the crate stock. The only thing on this Yamaha is we got that full M7 kit. Obviously we want to show off all our partners, all our sponsors, and that's the cool thing about graphics. The gas model, we just put number plates on it, but this one, we got all the partners on there, and that's for any rider coming up. You get a partner, get a sponsor, you want to put them on your graphics, hit up M7, those guys dial you in. But what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the track more throughout these episodes, and we're going to try parts on these things. They're stock right now, maybe try exhaust system, maybe try some different bars, some grips, whatever it be, but Parts Canada is supplying us with all the goods, and they want us to try out some of the products that they supply to their dealers all across Canada, as well as this Thor gear I'm wearing right here. This is my first time riding with this Thor gear, and it fits and finished perfect. Loved it right out of the box. So like the Yamaha, like the gas, we're gonna try some parts on these things and just see how we can make it and manipulate it into maybe a more bike that suits different people, and we can talk about that and just see what these parts actually do for the motorcycle. Welcome back to insideX, and we're going to give you some series updates on the Triple Crown as well as what's going on there. And being released today, the new schedule, and unfortunately the Western rounds have to be cut back, and very unfortunate. We wanted to get out west. We want to expand it across the whole the Canada and be a Canadian national series, but it looks like we're gonna have to do another bubble scene, and that's gonna start Walton July 2nd. It's gonna be the first round, as well as July 4th is gonna be the second round there at Walton. So 1 and 2 right at Walton there. Heading over to Gophers for round 3 on to Sandali. And then there's a TBA on the schedule right now. It's most likely going to be a Quebec round. We're just working on the logistics of that. On to Deschambault, and then finish up at the Transcan there. Obviously the amateur racing as well as the pro final. And then the Supercross scene staying the same with Gopher Dunes and Sarnia Supercrosses at the end of the year. Galdi, tough situation, but...
Yeah, as we kind of alluded at the beginning of the show, the lockdown just hasn't seemed to have been handled very good. We see out in BC right now that you're not even allowed to leave your territory, but they're allowing planes to come in from other countries, and even here in Toronto, close by us. So, and with that, we get affected, and it truly does suck. And because for us not to go out west, it kind of makes it not a national series, but we're stuck in this position where we're at, and not even stuck, we're forced to do it. But to put on a series, you got to jump through these hoops. We got to do what we can. Of course, we could sit back, and just maybe not do anything at all and say, oh, we're just going to sit back and not spend the money. But to showcase that, the series is moving forward and making something happen, that is what our community needs to look at as that positive and try to push that other negative side away. Of course, some people aren't going to be happy. It's the nature of the beast. We could be giving out $1 million a moto, and someone's still going to get mad. Well, that wasn't watered enough, or that jump was too big, or little Johnny didn't see the yellow flag. Whatever it is, you're never going to be perfect. And right now, it is completely impossible to find a way to be even close to perfect. But this is what we got, and obviously we're happy with it. We live on the east; it makes it easier for us, but. Kind of a shame, but I mean, kind of a unique setting again. It'll be interesting to see how it works out, who's able to make it in. Of course, the American riders are going to have to quarantine and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully we can get the TBA Quebec round organized ahead of time to get organized and make everybody comfortable. But the one thing that doesn't show on the schedule, we're going to have an added this sort of a little test, and that is kind of one thing that's been good for the series under COVID. We have been able to try these things, whether it's a Friday or Sunday deal. But the second round at Walton on the Sunday, we're going 3 moto format, 15-minute motos for the pros. Now, when I first thought of this, I'm like, the pros are going to hate this, but the teams are for this, to try this, and I think that's cool to showcase how good the Triple Crown and the teams have kind of worked together to communicate, to build something a little bit different that may work down the line.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, at first sight, if you're a pro rider, maybe you're training for those long motos, but then you got to look at it like, all right, it's a 15-minute sprint. We're doing 3 of them. We're not going to deal with the lap riders that we typically would deal with, so that's kind of nice. And then it gives riders a little hope. Hey, I got a whole shot. It's only 15 minutes. I can put myself on the box.
Look what the Supercross Series did with their version of the Triple Crown, right? So, testing the waters. And again, with this thing, you throw something on the wall, you hope it sticks. And this could be very cool. And Walton's a great track to test it at. Everything's accessible. It's easy to see things, all that kind of stuff. So, and then, of course, you mix the premix and the women's in there as well. And they'll probably stay the same, I would assume. We'll get more details on that. But it's crazy. And again, if you want to point fingers and you're this or that's that, it's not the boys of the Triple Crown Series or the MRC. We're getting put in the situation and we're making the best of it, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, and that's a big thing that I want to allude to is the fact that these are big meetings that go on with the manufacturers, the OEMs, as well as the teams. It wasn't, myself or JetWorks or yourself making these decisions. It's a team effort across the board, and like you said, there's going to be people mad, and it sucks. We want to be out west. Trust us. We're going out west. As soon as they open the gates, we're going to come out there. We're going to have a
We're going to flood it.
We're going to flood it. We're going to be back. But if we were in Alberta series, we would be in Alberta. That's where we would be racing.
100%.
If we were in Manitoba, same thing. So it's just we happen to be located in Ontario, and this is the most convenient and the place where all our staff comes from. We have a couple people, Daryl Murphy for one. He's the only one from out west, and the rest is from Ontario.
We're going racing.
Yeah,
that's how we got to look at it. We're going racing, Cal.
We're going racing. A couple other series is trying to go racing, the CSBK. We're looking at that, trying to keep in touch with Colin there, as well as the flat track. Not much say there. I talked to a couple riders. They're not sure if they're going racing or not either. So I know the Triple Crown, we're gonna force a series. We're gonna figure out if we got to do a bubble system, whatever it is, because we want to get these riders out there on the track. We don't want them to miss a year.
No, it's ridiculous some of the way. And of course, you just look at everything we're doing. We're outside. I mean, motocross riders are already basically wearing PPE, if you will, and creating a social distancing. All these rules and guidelines that we're waiting to follow or needing to follow to make sure the safety. We just did it last year. There's no way we can't do it again. There were 0 cases linked to us. A very positive workload was put in last year. We can do it again this year, and that's the plan. And yes, the schedule is not perfect for everybody, but we're going to give an opportunity for people to go racing again, and I think that's the way it's got to be looked at.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, as far as you touched on the WMX and FXR Premix, we're planning on East-West for those. Obviously, it's just going to be one series like it was last year. Champions E. Brodeur getting to run that number 1, Weston Rosina in that Premix class running the number 1. We're going to have more details on that as we go along, but this is the initial schedule change, the details that have changed already, and obviously there's going to be lots of questions, and we're going to fill in those blanks as we go along here, but that's it for this little insider segment. We're going to have a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
I will never stop. Would you want me to slow down? Would that make it easier for you? Or would you want the fight? The pour your heart into it kind of fight? Or should I stop working so hard? I know you'd want me to slow down. I know it would make it easier for you. But then the gate drops. I wouldn't be anywhere else. One goal, one vision.
And there you have it, another episode in the books, episode number 5, Galdi, and man, it was a good one. We got to the track, we got a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm liking the farm stuff there, man. Getting to ride the bikes there, talking about it. Does Isaiah throw away that Yamaha at all? I feel like he might be a little bit under-muscled for that bike.
yeah. No, he's good. He's got that 450. He's dialed in. He's tall enough to ride that thing.
I just didn't sure if it was off camera. Okay, we won't put that in the show, right? Him wincing or something when he hits the ground,
Yeah, no, so that's good. Just to touch on a couple other things before we let everybody go here. Obviously, we'll talk about the amateur stuff, but that Pit Bike National that the Triple Crown's putting on, that's going to be pushed back a couple weeks. We're going to have that date, so keep in touch with the social media side of things, and we'll have a date updated there soon. But as far as, the amateur side of things, how tough it is to plan stuff and...
Yeah, we were supposed to have a race there just a couple weeks ago, and it got pushed back with the lockdown here in Ontario. I know BC is struggling. I've heard a little rumor maybe the WCAN might not be going. Obviously, that's far away, but they might not even be able to open up till June. They don't want that to be the first event, so it's going to be a struggle in Ontario here. I've been working hard. Again, I got a hold of Doug Ford and this lady named Lisa McLeod, who is our Sport and Heritage MPP. She has never gotten back to me, so Lisa, if you're watching this, yo. But Doug emailed back again, and we are in a good position as far as our community and what we built last year. And I'm working on a hope right now that the wording comes out properly, just to make sure our insurance and guidelines. And we kind of talked before, racing is a lot more safer and built for a safer reasoning with controlled gate drops, flaggers, extra staff, medics on site compared to, say, that training and stuff. Not that that's wrong either, but racing itself carries a bit of a higher picture in the safety side of it. So I hate saying it, but I don't like working on a hope, but I'm hoping right now that we can go here towards the end of the month.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Just 2 years back to back that we're doing the same thing.
It sucks talking about it, man.
I know.
Let's talk about your hair.
Oh,
Let's send this off the grader. Like, I mean, you're looking good. Who's cutting that for you?
Actually, a friend's cutting it since we're in a lockdown.
Oh, I've been doing my own. You don't even want to see this. Like,
just put a hat on it.
The neck part's tough. I find that tough to do myself.
It's hard. I was doing it by myself, but then a friend offered, so I'm like, I took her up on it.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, it's good to go.
Yeah.
Good to go because doing the show every week, we got to look sharp.
You got to look good.
Sharp. But so hopefully amateur racing gets going here in May, and we just need racing. We need dirt bikes going, but we appreciate having this show. Love having you in here, and we're gonna have more episodes coming up. We got 6, 7, 8 all in a row.
More Armor Rewind. That's all I need.
Yeah, I could just do Armor Rewind. Look, we just do every episode just full.
We should
Armor
be
Rewind.
drinking Armor while we're doing this and getting just jacked up while we're watching those rewinds.
And it's hard to get that stuff. They're selling out everywhere. That Armor stuff.
It's popular.
It's popping off there. Lots of good riders running that stuff. So
they watch the rewinds and see how good everything is back then. So they're trying to bring it today.
Yeah, there it is. But that's another episode in the books. Sarah, appreciate you guys tuning in, and stay tuned for more episodes to come. It's a long season here. We're gonna get racing to you very shortly and talk about a lot of these teams and whatnot. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.